Hello everybody, today we're going to have a story called Norman the Slug with the Silly Shell. Here's Norman, look, here's our slug. And what is he using for a shell? That's right, he's got a donut on his back. I wonder why he's got a donut on his back. Do slugs usually have a shell? No, that's right, that's usually the snails, isn't it? So I wonder why Norman wants a shell. Shall we read the story and find out? So here's the title, Norman the Slug with the Silly Shell. And the author is Sue Hendra, so she wrote this story. So let's find out all about Norman the Slug with the Silly Shell.
By Sue Hendra. Norman the Slug thought snails were great. Wow, said Norman. Look at them. They're amazing. But unfortunately, the snails didn't think Norman was great. Whee! Crash! Norman, you silly slug, they cried. You've spoilt our fun. This only works if you've got a shell. Norman felt left out. Sadly, he skulked off into the moonlight. If only I had a shell of my own, he sighed, looking at his reflection. And that's when he had an idea. Maybe I could have a shell after all, he thought.
Now, why did Norman want a shell? Can you remember what happened at the beginning of the story? That's right. He saw all the other snails having lots of fun, didn't he? And he decided that he wanted to join in with their fun. But to do so, he needed to have a shell. Let's see what he uses or finds to be a shell.
But finding a shell was not as easy as it seemed. One was too bouncy, one was too noisy, and one was already taken. Norman needed time to think.
So, what did Norman try to use as a shell first? That's right, he used the ball, didn't he? But it was too... That's right, it was too bouncy. Then he used what? That's right, he used an alarm clock. But that was too noisy, well done. And then he used an apple. But there was somebody else already in the apple. Did you notice, did you spot who it was? That's right, it was a little worm, so that was no good either. So let's see what he does next.
Ta-da! A shell! It was perfect. Norman had never been happier. He could join the snails at last.
So what has he got as his shell? That's right, he's got a donut. Very beautiful looking shell, isn't it?
Norman loved being a snail, and the snails loved Norman's silly shell. But the fun didn't last for long. Suddenly there was a loud flapping of wings. Look out, bird! Cried the snails in panic. Quick, slither for your lives or we'll end up as supper. But the bird was more interested in Norman's silly shell. It looked delicious. Norman was being carried up, up and away, higher and higher into the sky. What could he do? Norman did the only thing a slug could do. He made slime, lots and lots of it. With a slither and a slother, a slip and a slide, Norman was free. But he was falling, faster and faster and faster until... plonk! Norman, are you okay? Asked the snails. Wow, said Norman, that was great. I love flying. If only I had wings. Ta-da!
What did Norman use for wings? That's right, he used somebody's underpants, didn't he? Silly slug. What I would like you to do today is thinking about the story is you could make some finger puppets or stick puppets or even just do some drawings of the characters in the story and see if you can retell the story in the correct order. So what happened first? That's right. Norman the slug wanted to be like the snails because he enjoyed watching them having fun. So he needed a shell. What did he try to use for a shell? So think about the things that he needed for his shell, or what he used for a shell but decided they were no good. And then what did he use? And then what happened? What happened? The bird came down and took him because the shell looked so delicious. What did Norman the slug do to escape? And then when he was escaping, what happened? Where did he land? And what idea did that give him? Have lots of fun with that activity. Don't forget to put it on Evidence Me for me. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.